Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turned out a poem 738. You said that I was great one day. Now notice there are quotation marks around the was great, and notice that great is capitalized. Now obviously the question of this poem is, who is the you of this poem? Now many have said that this poem takes us back to our study of 659. That first day when you praised me sweet and said that I was strong and could be mighty if I liked, that day, the days among, glows central, like a jewel between diverging goals, the minor one that gleamed behind and vaster of the worlds. Now, the scholar Farr has argued that there is a total of possibly 132 master poems, as we have called them in our study previously. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful you've worked through our set of introductory comments as well as the preceding 737 poems. We just finished with 737. The moon was but a gem of gold. Now, if you've done that study with us, you know that there is huge debate about what is often referred to as the master poems. These are letters or poems that were sent directly to somebody. Some think it's Sam Boyles, some think it's somebody else. It's possible that it's Sam Boyles who has said to Emily, wow, that was great, or whatever. Now, can we just pause for a moment and point out how amazing it is that a poet as remarkable, as gifted as Emily Dickinson possibly doubted herself? Or did she? I think this poem can be read in two different ways, and the tone of the poem I'm going to leave to you to decide. But I think some of you will begin to say, I'm not sure that Emily is doing anything in this poem other than playing a game. You'll remember she once said in a letter, blessed be those who play, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I think Emily is possibly doing some playing here. You'll remember, though, in our study of 441, this is my letter to the world who never wrote to me, that at the very end of that, what does she ask for? Judge tenderly of me. And I think there is possibly some of that game that's being played in this poem. That is to say, you complimented me, and I'm hopeful that I can live up to it. Or is there something else going on here? Let's enjoy it. You said that I was great one day, then great it be, if that please thee. Or small, or any size at all. Nay, I'm the size suit thee. Tall like the stag, would that? Or lower like the wren, or other heights of other ones I've seen? Tell which, it's dull to guess. And I must be rhinoceros or mouse at once for thee. Oh, so say, if queen it be, or page please thee, I'm that or not, or other thing, if other thing there be, with just this stipulus I suit thee. Stipulus, by the way, is an invented word. She falls into line like her hero, Shakespeare, who played games like this as well. Stipulus, stipulate. The idea here being, I will do anything I can to live up to this great that you have given to me. Now again, some of you will see this tone as, well, she's really kind of pushing a longing, a need for acceptance. Others of you will say, yeah, I don't think this is Emily's longing at all. I think this is Emily's telling whoever it was that said that she was great, that she already knows she's great and she doesn't need to measure up. Watch how she says it. You said that I was great. Notice the dash. One day. I think the word one is significant. In other words, she's maybe saying, I only heard this one time from you. Who is this? Is this Sue? Is this Sam? Who knows? Then she'll say, great it be. And this is why I like to read this poem as tongue-in-cheek. I think Emily's playing. Okay, fine. So I am great. You said it one day. Great it is. Okay. If that please thee. Notice the repetitions here. We go, please thee, suit thee, for thee, please thee, suit thee, right? So clearly Emily's playing a game. I think the repetition and the redundancy is the way that we know she's playing around here. It's altogether possible that the one she sent this to, if she ever shared it, was probably somebody who smiled back. Or she says, fine, the opposite of great is small. I told you in 77 of her poems she does this game. Or any size at all. And then she'll use the word nay, Shakespeare's word. I'm the size suit thee. Again, notice the last line, I suit thee. In other words, I'll be for you whatever you want me to be. Tall like the stag, with that. Notice she doesn't finish it. The line, Or lower like the wren, again going from small to lower like the wren. We've heard of her referencing herself as a small bird. Or other heights of, and then I think this is the key to know how to read this poem. Do you see other and once is both capitalized? In other words, I think she's arguing other writers. In other words, what? I'm great? You mean like great like what? Elizabeth Barrett Browning great? You mean like great like that? Like great in what way? And then notice I've seen question mark. And we've got this question mark then that kind of sits out there like, do you really think I'm great? Tell which. We called our series Chats with Emily for a number of reasons. One of them is this. Can you please tell me, would you tell me which? Then the dash. It's dull to guess, dash, and I think that's the key. The word dull is the key here. In other words, I'm a little bit tired of having to guess whether you think I'm great or I'm small, whether you think I'm worthy or I'm not worthy. Now again, standing behind all of this is our assumption. She's talking about her capacity as an artist and a writer. She may be talking about something else entirely, and we're just assuming. She says, either I'm a rhinoceros or a mouse, and she says, I must be a rhinoceros or mouse at once for thee. By the way, notice, this isn't a question. This seems to be more like a statement. I guess I got to be both of them because I can't figure out which one you think I am. Am I a rhinoceros, something amazing and majestic, or am I something like a mouse, something small and inconsequential? So she says it again, say. So notice she goes from tell which to say. So say, if queen it be or page. Now, you'll remember queen. We've already seen it in a number of poems already. 19 different times she'll play the game. We'll see it again for the last times in 776, 1256, and 1710. Or page, and then she'll say with the dash, please thee. And of course, please is a fun word, right? Because it can either be please as in I please you, or please as in would you please tell me which one it is. And of course, it could be read both ways. I'm that, or not. Notice the or not is set off in quotation mark, or I'm sorry, in dashes. You'll remember or not in our study, in our referencing all of the poems there in 655 when we did that one. You'll remember in 443 it was miles on miles of naught. You'll remember in 458 it was just infinite naught. And again, you'll remember it from 376, 605, 637, 696. All of those poems use this word not. When we get to 759, we'll come back to this use of the word not again. He fought like those who not to lose bestowed himself to balls as one who for a further life had not a further use, invited death, and on the poem goes. She says, I'm either or not, or other thing, and that takes us to 288, I'm nobody, who are you? I think Emily's playing around here. If other thing there be, and that may be the key phrase of the poem, she says, I guess I'll be something else if that's what you need me to be. If there is something else, if other thing there be. In other words, I think what Emily is actually saying is, I know I'm great, and there isn't anyone like me, so don't even try to compare me with, she says, just this stipulus, whatever it is, I need to suit thee, to suit you. Now, again, by the way, stipulus, she had a sidebar of reservation as a possible other word. She ended up with stipulus. Now, what is it she's really doing here at 2A? I think her argument is that all great artists need to be appreciated by someone. It's just a question of who that someone is. We think of all of the amazing artists that struggled in this vein. Kafka comes to mind immediately, and of course his classic text, Hunger Artist, I think comes to mind as well when we play a game like this poem. At 2B, I love this repetition, but it's the tone of this poem that I think maybe it could be serious, maybe it could be fawning, but I think it's just playful. I think she's having a bit of fun. Or maybe she's undermining this statement, wow, that's great. And she's like, oh, really? So that one day I was great? Really? Really? You know, that kind of thing. At 3A, we're going to have other master poems that will be coming. 740, we'll meet that one here in a bit. You taught me waiting with myself. And then 751 here in a little bit as well. I'm just giving you two of the ones that are coming to set you up. My worthiness is all my doubt, his merit all my fear. Far arguing that both of these are more master poems. Finally, at 3B, what was a time that you hoped to be respected or appreciated? Or what was a time when, quite frankly, you didn't really care what the other person thought and you needed to let them know that? Thank you.